Hey guys, welcome to Spooky Month. This October I'm going to be playing twice as many games, all spooky Halloween themed. Okay, so today we're going to be playing a game called
Cartomante,
which means
fortune teller.
So the music so far is really good. English. You can't wait to go home and lay like a corpse in your couch and finish the new Letnick series you've been binging? A Strange Flings. That is to say, a normal Thursday. You decide to take in 3 more customers before wrapping it up. Okay. Oh. The door opens and a tall figure enters slowly, sitting down silently on her back. There's a big package wrapped in stained fabric. Okay. Even after sitting down, she doesn't put the package down, holding it firmly between her shoulders and breathing slowly. Olivia. Olivia's got like a little mouse in her scarf. Or multiple. The figure stays silent. The package she carries doesn't seem to bother her. There's no need to be timid, my daughter. I can see you carrying a big weight, but sometimes the biggest load we carry is the one that can't be seen. Do card reading. You don't feel like there's a flow in conversation, so you decide to skip the plenty. Shuffle the cards. Which sleeping fox with the third eye should I choose? Feeling this one since it's right across from the mouse. Oh, fire. The tower. It symbolizes the serving of the chain for the new beginning, as well as the challenges for the transition, but also collapse, fall, and the rupture of the safety net. Okay. Revolution, Epiphany, God's Wrath. When in search for an answer, look inside yourself. Most of the time, the truth is what we're searching for. You stop mid-sentence. There's something strange in the atmosphere. Something I have not realized till now. You suddenly have some trouble breathing and start to loudly hear your own blood pulsating through your veins. You can't see the face of the lady right in front of you, but you can feel her intense gaze even behind the mask. It paralyzes you, and for a brief moment it looks like time has stopped altogether. You rub your uncanny dry eyes and look at her again. Holy shit. She keeps silent. I'm sorry, I was saying that you can't shake the ominous feeling. The truth. It has begun inside us all along, and with that in mind we can. It's mocking you now. It seems to have realized that you figured out what's going on. We can be sure that the answers we seek are the ones with questions we ask. The answer lies there. As usual, she doesn't reply. Seeing that you're done talking, the masked figure stands up to leave, making you flinch. She notices and somehow you feel an audible giggle. Okay, see you, Olivia. You realize you forgot to record today's episode of The Guiding Blight. Despite not being a huge fan of soap operas, this one is all the hype in the occultism group chats lately. You feel nauseate. You know the feeling all too well, but you wish you never had to deal with it again as you live. You try to meditate, but the anxiety doesn't let you. You gaze outside the window and look at your snake plant, hoping for a revelation. It doesn't give you any. The room feels cramped. Lighting seems surreal. The proportions of the basic objects around you feel deliberately inconsistent. Why is your field of view so small? For before you have a full-on panic attack, you grab your phone and dial his number. You don't even know if he's alive or dead. There's only one person you can talk to about this. The phone doesn't even ring. And someone picks it up from the other side. Are they back? I think so. Leave it to me. He hangs up. That is probably the longest conversation you two have ever had this century. At the end of the day, you call a locksmith and change all the locks in your apartment and your office for precaution. There's a little frog wizard. What was that? A well-dressed lady walks in hurriedly and sits down, crossing her legs. Before any introduction is possible, she starts talking. What a place, right? Even Fabian, my chauffeur, who always boasts knowing every nook and cranny of the city, had trouble getting here. Excuse me, darling, but are you hiding from something? Although if I recall correctly, they say that the further you go, the stronger the magic is, right? So by that guideline, your magic must be incredible, dear. Camellia. There was a camellia in the last game I played. Sweetie, could you confirm something for me? Lorelei? Called you earlier. You said the consultation was 350, is that right? Because Lorelei can be a goddess in the kitchen, but that girl has an awful memory. Lie and say it's more, or... Oh, good gracious, someday that Missy is gonna be my ruin, I tell you. It's reassuring to know that there are still honest people in this world. Nowadays, it seems that we're all becoming extinct. But I bet no one will create a fund or start a petition for our species. Hypocrites. Alright, now that we're done with the particulars, let's go to the core of the question. I have a boutique customization and delivery app called the Fuse de Camellia. We still haven't started delivery to this part of town, but we've already a huge success in the high zone. My business model makes the traditional street flower shop obsolete, but as a keepsake for Fleur's history, there's still one physical branch remaining, which it also has been a family heirloom for 3 generations. Seeing that, I've been extremely swamped with meetings and our stakeholders about our countrywide launch, particularly living between flight connections. I obviously have no time at all to attend to the store. And being completely honest, it's only open to this day due to my emotional attachment to it. And the marketing purpose, of course. Since the app's success, the physical store hasn't been yielding profits for a long time now. But I couldn't simply leave it in the hands of any happy-go-lucky employee. Flues has almost no floors, because we're outsourced almost all the work. Our team is basically comprised of marketing and IT, you see. So then a few weeks ago, my sister asked me if I could find her son, my nephew Lorenzo, a job. So I made him store manager. Before you start judging me, it wasn't favoritism. He always attended excellent schools, he had a high charisma, and was a sabbatical from college. Since he came back from the exchange program, and now it's a good practice to keep business within family. Anyway, I introduced him to the staff, gave him the keys to the store, and didn't think more about it. But a few days ago, I got this call from Mrs. Sandra, a meddlesome old lady who attends our country club and lives just next to the store. She said that in respect of our long-standing friendship, she hadn't called the police. But every other night, a group of juvenile delinquents had been trespassing inside the store, doing terrible things, disturbing the peace. It seems that they meddle with alcohol and drugs, and there's even been some public indecency going on inside my store. I know, I should explain to our security measures more strictly to my nephew. The store isn't a very upscale location, but recently there have been low-zone folks hanging about, doing who knows what. No offense, of course, but You know that there is a lot of bad apples that go all the way to the high zone to cause nuisance, don't they? They take advantage of your tidiness and safety since they live in chaos. I don't want to tell Lorenzo so not to scare him. I didn't want him to quit the job after being lazing around in a sabbatical for so long. I even got around to asking if he saw anything strange recently, but he said no, and that everything was going well. He is a very kind-hearted boy. Really innocent, you see. Then it got me worried and tried asking around the staff if they knew something they should have, since they ought to be cleaning up the mess. Don't you think? But they all acted as nothing was happening. And that's the thing, I think those criminals are threatening my staff, so they keep quiet about the activities. Or even worse, some of them could be accomplices. I mean, they are also mostly from the low zone, so that's a possibility, don't you think? I still haven't gone to the police because something like that could be really bad for PR and... yeah. And I can't take that risk on the eve of going national. I'm not actually that much into this kind of stuff. She looks around the room and gestures to you and the deck of cards. Man, she's really just talking. Well, my sister reminded me that her grandmother, before starting up her business, went to Cartomante for advice. And she told her that this would be a success. So I've come here with an open mind as suggested by my personal coach so that I can receive a proper guidance on what to do in this situation. I want to know the best way for protecting the innocent of my little angel. Keep Flur's public image untarnished and punish those low-life deviants. I don't think your nephew is being completely honest with you, or do card reading. You can't stand hearing more about this bougie gibberish and decide it's best just to do your job so she can leave sooner. Yeah. Destiny governs us all and our own tools to interact with what is our intention. I receive your open heart and take your will as mine for the moment. Let's see the truth the cards hold. Darling, I love that. You'll mind if I use that quote in our media campaign, right? Which card? Well, she's got a plant on her head, so maybe this one? The Justice. It symbolizes harmony, objectification, conciliation, as well as attraction and repulsion, life and fear, promise and threat. Immortality, karma, choices. I kind of want to go to choices, but I'm not sure why I do. I just do. So I'm going to choose that. We are not defined by the situations destiny puts in our path, but in contrast, we are completely defined by the choices we made in those situations. The scope of choice goes beyond what someone would simply call free will. It is, though, choice that we make express our small transformative power amidst a cycle that can seem fatalistic and cruel. And even if, though individual analysis' impact is small, the sum of our actions generate a karma that the universe won't forget. My dear, are you always that cryptic or just showbiz? Anyway, I love the mystical vibe of it all. So basically I have a choice to make, that's it? Couldn't you probe Destiny a little more and tell me the options? Contradicting what many believe, the cards do not hold the answer to all our problems. They open our eyes and show us possible path. Everything else depends on how we use that knowledge. Yeah, the concept of nut, isn't it? I wrote a book about that, but I admit that for 180 I hope for a little more fulfilling than that sandwich. Well, my dear, I have some call to take. Thanks for the advice, I guess. Go with the grace and may it bring you closer in your troubles. Water my plant. That was loud. A fast motorcycle passes by and the loud backfiring hurt the ears. Damn kids. Frog. You close your eyes for a while and ends up in a delirious nap. During it you see the eccentric florist and an unknown young man. They are both surrounded by plants of luscious green and flowers so colorful it looks as someone changed the world's saturation settings. The woman seems bothered, while the man looks like to be mocking the situation. You can't really discern what they're saying, but you feel a negative energy coming from them both. They start raising their voices and slowly it gives you a dream world migraine. Wake yourself up, keep listening. The migraine bothers you greatly, but you power through and make what is going on between them. The woman is accusing the man of associating with bad influences. And the man is accusing her of lying and manipulating the people around her for profit. The lady asks what's that's got to do with the price of eggs or something of sorts. The boy answers that she should really know about eggs, and she's been fondling many executes once in order to receive investment in insider trading. She keeps silent while the boy keeps making some other similar accusations and threatening to bring it all public knowledge unless she leaves him alone. They are no longer shouting in contest, but your migraine seems to be getting worse. Wake yourself up inside, can't wake up. You open your eyelids with some difficulty, but it takes a few seconds to regain full control of your conscious self. You form a quick banishing routine and put your mind back in its right place. Click on stuff. Bell. An oddly garbed man answers. Despite his bold choice of outfit, he seems to be somewhat shy. He's a dog. Are you Mrs. Cartomante? What troubles you? He looks relieved, as if realizing he's in the right place after all. After a brief sigh, his shoulders drop and he proceeds. So then, miss, heed my tale. I am service provider. Of humble origin may I be, but dear father of mine taught me to care for all my loved ones equally. For love is patient and it doesn't dishonor others. At the same time, love rejoices with the truth. So I came today to ask you the truth. You didn't expect him to turn all a nip on you all of a sudden, but it's good to see that he's feeling more at ease. Oh, his name is Burra. Burra? Oh, may I keep talking? Of course. Oh, okay, well, that's strange. People normally interrupt me as soon as they can. As I was saying, love, yes, love. You see, I'm currently amidst the most gripping love triangle story ever. At one corner, Bruno. The love of my life, the one I swore to grow old with, who's always supported me through hardships whom I lived together with. But the other side, Palaires? The hurricane that comes into my life and tricked me profoundly. I love his big brown eyes. I love his thick coarse skin. I love the feeling of his moist tongue. Above all, I love how quiet and understanding he is. All in all, he is a great, great dog. But the thing is, Bruno doesn't seem to like him, and I really wanted him to like him. The relay man in front of you withers. The flower life cycle time-lapse video mother sent you the link of yesterday. Oh miss, please do tell me, how can I make the two of them get along so I can see it at the purified fire of our home with both my beloveds on the Sunday afternoon? There's something that's been nagging you for a while now. Perhaps it's inappropriate to ask. With gusto, what do you want to know? What kind of breed is he? Where did you two meet? He is a purebred mongrel, the best breed. Almost nothing, well actually nothing, but I guess that's because I'm just too strong, you know. He suddenly showed up in my room. He must have jumped in through the window or something. He has strong legs since we live in the 3rd floor. Okay, one last question. What? He's at home, I guess, since they don't get along well. Bruno doesn't take him on walk. You know, it's actually pretty sad. Bruno won't even acknowledge existence, you know, when I talk about it. He just looks at me with concerned expression, like I am totally crazy. Am I crazy? You're not crazy, but you might not be ready for the truth you see. After some time staring at it, I finally reason you can see it. You two lock eyes, and for a moment, it looks wary of you. What? There's something on my jacket? Oh, nothing. Let's confer with the cards. Well, the dog's right there, isn't it? The Wheel of Fortune. It symbolizes the circle of life, phases, ascension, and decline, as well as transition of things. So money, cycles, payback. Cycles, I guess? The most simple interpretation of the Wheel of Fortune is just that what it looks like, a cycle. Things that come and go like changing tides. Or how an contemporaneous poet said, what goes around, comes all the way back around. No step. And sometimes the simplest and most obvious thing are the ones we should look for. But in this case, it's completely permanent. Let me ask you some questions about Bruno, okay? Hit me. I'm a Bruno expert. Did he end things well with his last partner? The man is still silent. His face loses a little color, and his eyes lose a little shine. That I don't know. He was never one to talk about exit. And I'm not one to be pushy, but every time the topic pops up, he becomes sulky and... Listen, I understand. Thank you for sharing with me. Could you tell me if he is more of a cat person or a dog person? I would say he's more of a bird and feminist reptiles person. But out of the two, cats are elimination, I guess. He just doesn't seem to get what makes people fawn over dogs so much. Or so he told me. And of course I knew that when introducing Paris to him, but I guess I just hoped that it would help him warm up to the puppers. It's not your fault, but at the same time you gotta respect your husband's individuality, don't you? He was probably a bit shook up you just adopted a dog without consulting him. I guess you're right, I just never imagined another possibility, you know? When I see an animal that needs love and care, I can't even consider rationalizing the situation. I just do my best to help them as much as I can. And you are my dear for that, no doubt. You live with him, and you want to spend the rest of your life with him, so you gotta think more like a team. Yeah, right. It's something I've always knew, but didn't bother putting into practice. Hey, thanks. I mean, this ended more like a relationship counseling than a fortune teller. I'm sorry for that. I don't mind, a significant proportion of my clients think that I'm their therapist or something. But I can tell with you, certainly, I've had it way worse before. You're a good person, thanks so much. But hey, actually, why did you ask about his previous partners too? I mean, didn't really tie in with everything else, I guess. Oh, nothing, just being curious. Can't blame a humble for wanting to hear some interesting love tales, can you? Well, okay then. I'm gonna go home and talk to him. Thanks for opening my eyes. It looks at you. It seems completely exasperated, like you exposed this biggest secret to the world. You're generally not one for... I don't know that word. But you smile subtly, seeing its despair. You're becoming more like your grandmother. Go with grace, and may it bring closure to your troubles. Radio. Lily's news, it seems to be a nice, obedient family dog, just went from mongrel to murderer. Really, Carl? Is that what you came up with? Anyway, it seems like a couple from the low zone just had to cancel their plans from this weekend, and all other weekends after. And their adorable little stray went rogue, gorging and killing both men with utmost cruelty. Our informant says the dog was also killed during the altar garden, leaving behind his... what? Oh, is it right? Well, the 800-pound, 9 feet tall carcass. What is this? So you mix up the script with the late night horror segment? An anonymous witness claims to have heard everything from the next door sofa, and said that before the fight broke out, the three were arguing. Our witnesses go on and say that one man was upset because his husband's ex-boyfriend, a weredog, was disguising his cuddly pet and then demanded to have a conversation about boundaries, to which the informant mentioned weredog and intervened, unwilling to part with his belly rubs. Weredog, this is the kind of news we're giving now, Carl. This is fine. And then not being able to sort their problems with love and understanding, technically 3 men dispose of their next tool of preference, incredible violence, and we all know how that generally turns out, listeners. Thank you very much, Miss Bonnie Welding, for the anonymous tip. And beware strays on the street. Neuter your dogs, people. Well, I didn't even think of the possibility that that dog was a were-dog. And I was actually confused of Bruno. I thought he was I thought they were both dogs. And he was talking about he got a new dog and didn't like his old dog. But then it turns out that Bruno was actually his husband. And that the dog was actually his ex-boyfriend that he knew that he was, but he didn't tell him, and the dog wanted to go there to hang out. I don't know. There's candy over here. I skipped whatever that said by mistake. I want to see if there's anything else. End of day. Each choice shows us new path. I can restart the day or end the shift. What does restarting the day mean? I mean, I gotta talk to the same people again, but I gave me the option. Oh. So they're gonna say the same thing. So, this is Olivia. So, the first time, I just skipped to the card reading, so maybe now I want to persist. The reading can be more precise if there is a clear question or thought on your mind. Would you like to try expressing your attention? The figure keeps silent, but you hear a tiny angry squeak. Hey, down to the left. You notice a small mouse under the mask figure's scarf. It squeaks in your direction and looks straight into your eyes. Yeah, you. Will you stop ignoring me? The mouse squeaks in a commanding tone, betraying his high-pitched voice. Listen, here it is. The stitch. I know pretty well the kind of person you are, with that whole hoodoo scam, the empty, the Walton of the simpleton. But unfortunately, the blockhead here is not only stubborn, but superstitious, and would rather play around with cards than listen to her elders. So listen closely, because I only say it once, so it's not to waste any more of my time. Where could the safe place for us to deposit the luggage where no one can fiddle with it, you feel me? Oh. She's carrying like some bloody thing on her back, is it? Yeah. I'm just saying the contacts of this package don't concern them, missus. You dig me? Looking for a Pacific service. Our attitude exudes unprofessionalism. If it were me, I wouldn't even be having this convo, believe it. Do me a favor with the thing, the card, so you can scram. You can feel free to shove the money out. It was you who got us into this, so chill out, Baldy. Do the card reading. Some part of you wants to get up and sock that tiny animal, but you're tired. Today's shift is almost over, and her companion looks at least double your size. Let's take a look at the cards, ladies and gentlemen. The most gashes his teeth. The masked bear remains silent. Nice, you think to yourself. So, where can they hide the body? It's the same card. I chose choices last time, didn't I? Karma, you'll get imparted. The human condition fundamentally foretells the mass manifestation of our willpower, expression through your actions, and like any force, for every action there is corresponding action maintaining the balance of the universe. Seeing as the universe doesn't perceive time linearly like we do, we can be feeling today the consequences of our choices made yesterday, 10 years ago, or one that have yet to be made. Just like all of us, you are also in the middle of an eternal karmic cycle, and nothing goes unnoticed by it. That all human shit is some kind of jab. If it is, you should have put some more effort into it, because every day after I wake up, I say thanks for not having been born naked, tailless, like you all. No, of course I'm not talking about you. I meant the other. But actually, Broomhilda, what are you trying to imply? That the whole consequence is gibberish? Are you a cop or a minister? We come here, ask you a simple thing, and even still we can't get one straightforward answer. Are you happy now? I told you to leave the thinking stuff with me, each one of its specialties. The pair stands up and leaves. Go with grace and may it bring you closure with your troubles. Okay. I have to water the fern. Okay. Was that red talking? There's a little, like, green thing. Oh. He wasn't the one that came in. Blah, blah, blah. Keep listening. Of course. After me. His husband's dog. Both? Whoops, he really is clueless, isn't he? Ah, why am I only getting this card? This. In a situation like this, you should not rely in your viewpoint alone before making an assessment. Have you truly considered how your husband feels about the situation? What do you mean about the dog? I know I should have consulted with him before. It's his home too, but like, it isn't a big deal, right? He's just a cute dog. Perhaps the animal itself is not the problem. Maybe the truth lies in how you treat it. How does he perceive it? I mean, he's jealous? Oh no, Bruno wouldn't be jealous. That's impossible. My love for him is still the same, and I always make sure he feels appreciated. Maybe your husband doesn't feel things that way. Maybe there is a fair chance that his views on love differ from yours. So he might be sheltering you from revealing the truth. But love is multiple. It is not a scarce, infinite resource. The more we have, the more we can generate. But not everyone has or feels that abundance. What are you saying? Sometimes you and him have different expectations for love. Maybe he can only express it to one being at a time, and there's possibility of your love for others could, under such circumstances, threaten him. It is positively absurd. Well, it is an artifact of our society's history, after all. Are you telling me I'm supposed to love less? I'm not trying to dictate in any way how you should live your own existence. It is entirely up to you if you choose to make a priority of personal visions and philosophies and be true to yourself. Or you can look for some sort of compromise with your partner. There is no wrong choice. Every time we go to my in-laws, he spends all day fawning over that nasty cockatiel. But if he can clearly love another being like that, why shouldn't I? Don't be like that. You're not doing this only to get back at him. Yeah, of course not. I really do love Faros. So try and search inside yourself the strength to establish that communication with him. To love indeed is not a crime, but there is a lot of stigma around those whose definitions and practice of love differ from what the norm expects. I guess you're not wrong. I mean, that's a lot to take in. I should really think it through though. But in any event, thanks for being straightforward. It really helped. Just doing my job, brother. The man steps up, thanks you again for your counseling, and leaves. Go with grace, and may it bring closure to your trouble. Okay. Whoop. You skim through the pages of Tarot, a marketing fraud, the newest release of Cartomante. The well-dressed lady walks in a hurry and sits down cross-legged. Before any introduction is possible, she starts talking. Blah blah. Honest. Course. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Just it. She talks forever. I don't think you're honest as me. What do you mean? Are you saying that my angel is lying to me? Are you calling the blood of my blood a liar? Or are you saying that he actually knows something? But it is indeed being threatened by these criminals. She becomes fidgety, adjusting her body on the chair. I couldn't stand the thought. Even since his parents got divorced, I've been doting on him so he would never feel lonely. I like to think to myself as his second mother, you see. And I know he can have too strong of a sense of justice sometimes, but to think he would go that far just to not make me worry. She sheds a single dramatic tear and quickly wipes it with the back of one of her gloves. Oh, Miss Fortune Teller, I must ask you for help. I'd do anything for my little bean. Tell me how to make vengeance on those scoundrels. You decide that you're not being paid enough for this, and okay. Money, cycles, payback. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. You take a long, hard look at the card and think of the nicest way you're about to say the... Normally, I would give a verbose explanation of the card and how it currently relates to your situation. I would like to create words and somewhat cryptic in order to leave it sufficiently open for interpretation. So you could reflect on yourself and come to a conclusion based on those directions. But this is somewhat personal as well. So I feel like I have to break protocol. She looks confused and waits for you to keep talking. You are a stuck-up pretentious job and your business is going to fail horribly, just like your love life. Or this is my grandmother's fault. How is it my grandmother's fault? Should I be really rude? She gets wide-eyed and her mouth opens slightly. You come here and insult my job, my neighborhood, and these people from the low zone. You put a heavy glamour over your eyes so you can't see the rotten truth surrounding yourself, your family, instead choosing to lay the blame on the less privileged than yourself. I am no way obligated to take shit from you, and I know the universe would probably be pleased if you were just put back in your place for once. So take back the soulless cash of yours and try to stop and think about your own problems before coming to pay someone else to think for you. It's a big scream, you think to yourself, saying that is practically your job description. You do card readings, that is literally your job description. She calmly starts standing up to leave. You will be hearing from my lawyer. Well. Your phone ring is Camilla's lawyer. You two end up having a nice and pleasant chat. Apparently she tries to sue a lot of people on a regular basis, so that his strategy is to save time and resources to call the person immediately, telling her the process is underway, and then do nothing as she forgets about it the following morning. He has a deep and raspy voice. You end up inviting him for a follow-up for your chat, for a cup of coffee. One of these days he says, yeah, we should definitely do that, and never responds again. I got an achievement. That's a minute in the day. So that was Fortune Teller. I think I really like the art style of the games. How bright. Let me restart it for a second. How bright and colorful the game actually is. Oh, she said something different that time. Anyway. So, there's apparently little things you can click on, like I could click and water the plants. If I can't do anything while there's a character talking to you, so it's like in between you have to quickly find something that you can interact with. But I like the bright color of the character designs, and I wish it was a little longer, but the game was only 5 something on Steam, so it takes, I don't know, maybe half an hour to play through the entire game, but seeing as you can go over and over and get different paths, unlock different things. But the second time I played through, I don't know if it didn't tell me what happened. Like with them, like the first time the radio came up and told me that him and his partner were murdered. But the second time it didn't tell me anything about what my choices changed. Unless I skipped over it by accident, but that was one paragraph that I accidentally skipped over because I was clicking on the background. And it looks like the time is still changing even though I'm just sitting here. I wonder if that affects what happens or not, But yeah. But anyway, this was Fortune Teller. You guys can go play it for yourself on Steam if you want to check it out. And thanks for watching.